Hello, welcome back to my channel. Making rice is deceptively easy. Measure, rinse, add water, simmer, steam, and less than a half an hour later, you're done. And yet so often, no matter if you're an amateur in the kitchen or consider yourself pretty accomplished, the final result is a letdown. Sometimes the grains turn to mush, sometimes they're hard in the middle, and all too often they're stuck to the bottom of the pot. In my house, the ultimate let it soak overnight culprit, never a fun thing to wake up to. Enter rice cookers, which, for many, save the day. They're basically a targeted type of electric cooker, similar to a pressure cooker or slow cooker, only they excel at making plump, perfectly cooked rice. They can either be incredibly simple, with just 2 settings to cook and keep warm, or they can be quite advanced, with presets for all different types of rice, brown, long grain, sushi, and more, as well as preparations like congee, porridge, and even pressure cooking, which is, yes, one way in which all those electric cooking tools can overlap. I spoke with a bunch of experts about their favorite models, which ranged from cheap and straightforward contraptions to more high-tech machines. But the bottom line is, if you eat rice even a couple times a week, a rice cooker may be well worth a spot on your countertop. Number 5. Best Rice Cooker by Imusa Electric Nonstick. Recipe developer and writer Justine Dwaran loves her rice cooker because of its simplicity and reliability. She first bought it about 8 years ago at Target because it was the cheapest one she could find. Despite the notably low price, the machine has proven to be incredibly durable and has never done me wrong, she says. The Imusa comes with a measuring cup and instructions on how much water to add, depending on what variety of rice you're making. Other than that, it operates with a single cook button and a setting to keep food warm if you want. When a cooking appliance is only meant for one use, you don't need the fanciest model, Dwaran says. Number 4. Best Rice Cooker by Aroma Arc 914 SBD Digital. For a particularly low-key model that gets the job done, Justin Lee, the owner chef of New York City's Fat Joy, turns to his Aroma rice cooker. For home use, I think a cheap and simple one is really all you need, he says. It's just easier than using a pot, or at least you don't have to watch it as much. It gets the job done totally fine, he notes. And sure, there's something about the way the Zojirushi is constructed that makes it superior. But at the end of the day, we're not making sushi rice. This is just us cooking rice at home so we can feed ourselves and our family. For that, he maintains it's perfect. He's not the only one who thinks so. The Aroma has a 4.5-star rating on Amazon with more than 50,000 reviews. Even a caveman can make perfect rice with this machine, writes one customer. Another was specifically looking for an alternative to the Zojirushi and was still willing to pay big bucks, but couldn't believe it when her sister told her about this under $50 unit. I thought she was kidding. So glad she wasn't. Now my husband and I are already enjoying our perfectly cooked brown rice. If you're interested in an even simpler version of Lee's Aroma, strategist senior editor Chelsea Pang, who grew up with Zojirushis, endorses such a model. She uses hers to make brown rice, and during tomato season, this extremely dated but delicious hack. The 12-minute final countdown is a handy feature because it tells me when to squeeze in a Shona Virtue video or to start cooking the other components of my meal, she says. And it's very sturdy. I bashed it around and picked it up by the top handle when it's open, don't ask me why, with no detrimental effect. Number 3. Best Rice Cooker by Panasonic SRDF 101. The Panasonic is another simple model, the one that food photographer Neil Santos has also used for a decade, both personally and at his Philly-based Filipino pop-up, Lalo, which unfortunately closed due to the pandemic. I'm not a high-tech kind of person, and this only has a few settings. That's what I grew up with in a Filipino household, he says. It can be on all the time and stay warm. It has a little basket that can steam veggies over the rice. Sometimes I'll use it for other dishes as well. The Philippines has a lot of rice desserts like suman, which is sticky rice wrapped in banana leaf. I put the suman in there and let it stay warm. That's how we used it at the restaurant. We were in a food hall, so everything was small, and this was an efficient way to do things. Reviewers of the Panasonic agree. The keep warm function is so convenient, writes one, and I never end up with burnt rice that's impossible to clean off the pot. In fact, I usually only have to give the pot a quick rinse when I'm done and it's good to go. Another says it's even better than the Zojirushi when it comes to that particular setting. It keeps white or brown rice warm and ready to eat for 24 hours, without the rice drying out and becoming too hard and brittle, they write. The 10-cup Zojirushi we have will dry out the rice overnight. Number 2. Best Rice Cooker by Instant Pot 6QT Dual Pressure Cooker. It's no secret that the Instant Pot can do a lot, but strategist senior editor Jen Trolio primarily uses hers for rice, making it for her family of 4 at least once a week. She takes a stainless steel mixing bowl, fills it with equal parts water and rice, and sets it inside the Instant Pot on top of the wire rack the unit comes with. Then she puts a ½ inch or so of water at the bottom of the larger container, not covering the top of the rack. She cooks on high pressure for 4 minutes, then does the slow release for about 10 minutes, with a manual release if there's any pressure remaining at the end. With a little fluff, it's ready to go. It's nice to have the nearly set it and forget it convenience of a rice cooker that is also multi-purpose for pressure cooking, slow cooking, and so on, Trulio says. Obviously we could still do rice on the stove, but on top of the convenience, the Instant Pot can be shoved to the edge of the counter and not take up a burner. Number 1. Best Rice Cooker by Zojirushi NSTSC10. In my reporting, Zojirushi came up more than any other brand. It has a fancier model with even more settings that multiple experts mentioned. You can read about that one further down the list, but this one, especially given that it's less than half the price of the other, makes for an all-around great buy. Food writer and recipe developer Kiara Wright Ruiz had to leave hers behind when she recently moved to Hawaii. She told me it's the thing she misses the most. I'm sure people have said this before, but it really is the Lamborghini of rice cookers, she says. The standout reason is what Zojirushi calls fuzzy technology, or a built-in microcomputer that can sense how your rice is cooking and adjust the time and temperature so that even if you add too little or too much water, it will self-correct, says Wright Ruiz. You get a consistent texture with a margin of error. Another particularly appealing feature is the ability to preset when you want your rice to cook. For example, if you're braising something that takes 3 hours, you can time it so that the rice is done simultaneously. Finally, though perhaps not the most imperative to the rice itself, Zojirushi's machines play music when you start them, an adaptation of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and when they're done cooking, and it's clearly delightful enough that everyone who recommended the brand, again, more on the rest of those folks, below, made mention of the jingles. Get more details from description. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe my channel and like our video. See you guys in the next one.